Have you ever sipped your coffee, stared at the clock, and sighed because something was getting closer? If yes, then you're not alone. Welcome back to Chill English, the place where we listen, relax, and learn English through real emotions. I'm Quinn, and today I want to tell you about deadlines. Those little things that make our hearts race the moment they appear. A deadline, just a point in time. Yet it holds a strange power that can change the mood of an entire day. You might be cheerful and relaxed until someone says, "Hey, the report is due today." And suddenly, your heart beats faster, your mind starts calculating, and your whole world shrinks into two words: finish it. Some people fear deadlines. Some get defeated by them. But there are also people like me who've learned to live peacefully with deadlines. Back then, I used to panic whenever a deadline got close. The closer it was, the more distracted and stressed I became. I tried to work faster, but the faster I worked, the more mistakes I made. There were nights I sat in front of my screen, my eyes burning, and the words still didn't look right. It felt awful, like being stuck between responsibility and exhaustion. But after many battles, I realized that deadlines aren't enemies. They're mirrors, reflecting how we work and how we handle pressure. Once I understood that, everything changed. Instead of fearing deadlines, I started talking to them. Now, whenever a new deadline appears, I always start with one question: how much time does this really need? I break the work into smaller parts, not a giant mountain, but many little steps. Each day, I just need to climb one step. No rushing, no forcing myself to do everything in one night. I also learned to plan backward, to start from the deadline and calculate what I should do today. That way, I never end up saying, "I'll start when it's almost due." Of course, not every plan goes perfectly. Sometimes work piles up, or things move slower than I expect. But instead of panicking, I've learned to accept reality. I tell myself, it's okay. Being a bit slow doesn't mean failure. What matters is that you keep moving forward. With that mindset, the pressure eases, and I can focus on finishing the rest instead of drowning in guilt and fear. Another important lesson I've learned is not to take on everything alone. I used to believe I could do it all, but I found out that this belief only led to burnout. Now, if I feel overwhelmed, I ask for help. A quick question, a short discussion. Sometimes that saves hours of confusion. No one can be perfect or strong all the time. Sharing isn't weakness. It's a smart way to overcome deadlines. And most importantly, I've learned to rest at the right time. It sounds strange, doesn't it? But rest is actually a vital part of reaching a deadline. When your mind is tired, your ideas get stuck. So instead of forcing myself to continue, I step outside, take a walk, and breathe. Sometimes, just 10 minutes under the sky can refresh my energy, and the work starts flowing again naturally. Deadlines don't kill us. It's how we treat ourselves during them that does. Of course, there are still deadlines that really stress me out. For example, when a project is due soon and there's still so much left to do, at those moments, I do something simple. I take a deep breath and write down what truly needs to be done. When I see the list, everything becomes clearer. I start with the easiest task, just to get momentum. That feeling of progress helps me regain motivation. We often fear deadlines because we see the whole big picture and forget that the picture is made up of small strokes. I also changed how I view pressure. I used to think it was something to avoid. Now I understand. Pressure can become motivation. It teaches me time management, helps me focus on what's important, and reminds me to stay calm amid chaos. Deadlines make me grow because they force me to know when to pause and when to push forward. Some people ask me, "Quinn, how can you stay so calm when the deadline is near?" I usually smile and say, "Because I know panic doesn't slow time down." Instead of complaining, I choose to act. Instead of stressing, I choose to focus. Once you learn to control your emotions, a deadline stops being a monster and becomes a companion, showing you how strong you really are. And perhaps the best thing I've learned from all those deadlines is this: I can do more than I ever imagined. The moments I thought were impossible were actually moments when I discovered my patience, strength, and resilience. Each deadline I survive makes me understand myself a little more and grow a little more. So, if you're struggling with a deadline right now, remember, you're not alone. We've all been there. The difference lies in how you face it. Take a deep breath, break your work into steps, rest when needed, and believe that, one step at a time, you'll get there. Thank you for joining Chill English and Quinn through this very real, very human topic: how I deal with deadlines. I hope today's session helps you feel calmer and reminds you that pressure, when understood and faced correctly, can be one of life's greatest teachers. If you enjoy these slow, gentle, and heartfelt listening sessions, don't forget to like, subscribe to Chill English, and share to spread positive energy. See you in the next session, where we'll continue to learn, listen, and feel English with all our hearts.